all for coming out here for that nice warm work. Thank you for the music, Kendall. That always does it for me. And that's actually one of my favorite songs. I was at an event that every true used that song. And that speaks so much about what we're all for at Avon, right?
Yes.
We come here for different reasons, but ultimately we want to make some money from what we're doing. We want to be rewarded for the effort that we're putting in the business. And we will find out that you're often rewarded based on the amount of effort you expend, right?
Yeah.
All right. And we're all here because we want to make more money. Is there anyone in the room that's comfortable with where they are? They're making enough? No. Maybe Isabel.
No. Not
Maybe
yet.
I'm sure. But guess what? We're always looking to do more. Just think of all the good you could do with what you make. I started 10 years ago with Avon, and time has flown by so quickly. I started because my daughter was 3 months old. I was living in New York at the time. And in my life before Avon, I worked as a hairstylist. I was doing pretty good, really loved what I was doing. But then for those of you who have children, you know that it's not so easy tearing yourself away from them. And that was my lifelong dream. As a hairstylist, I had a son, but I wanted a daughter that I could fix every day to use my beauty skills. I wanted someone I could play with their hair, get them all dressed up. So I was so excited when I had my baby. I was just not ready to leave her to go back to stand behind the chair. So I actually signed on with Avon and Mary Kay the same day because I wanted to see what both had to offer. I paid $10 to sign up with Avon. And do you know how much I paid to get started with Mary Kay? $100. And the person who signed me, if she talked me into doing the stock up, the stock up that they talk you into. So I actually spent $600 getting stuff. 4 years later, when I was moving to Texas, I still had time-wise, all the liquid. I still had products from that first order that I was giving away. Avon, I can truly stand and say, is the best $10 investment I have ever made. It has been life-changing. The return on this investment. There's no stock, no bond that I could have bought that would give me the return that Avon has given me. And the satisfaction far outweighs all of that. So I started, and I know none of you in this room do that. For the first 3 months, I can honestly say I didn't make much money with Avon because I was my biggest customer. None of you do that, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
When the orders would come in, I would search first to see what was in the box for me. And then I would look for my customers' orders. And in every campaign, I would drum and say, I'm not making any money, I'm not making any money. Not taking into account that half the stuff in that box was mine. I was shopping for myself, for my mother, for my sisters, for them. I was so happy. I was extending my jewelry collection, and I still do. I was getting every new purse, everything I could find, and I was very happy, but it was not very profitable. None of you do that, right? So now when I sign my customers up, I tell them I get all my personal care needs from Avon, but as a much shrewder businesswoman, I put a limit on what I spend on my personal order, and I try to make sure I sell to cover my orders. So that's how I train my Donna members. So I was going along. The person who signed me up, I was actually her second recruit, and I remember calling her. I was so excited. I got my order. Called her 2 days later, and she said, call the district manager because I'm not finding any good people, so I don't think I want to be bothered with this leadership thing. I learned a very important lesson from that. Never prejudge anyone you bring on your team, because if she had just stayed on as a unit leader, she would still be earning enough to pay her bills now, I am sure. So never prejudge. Give everyone on your team the support they deserve, because you just never know. I'm also, from that point, I learned to value the partnership with the district manager, because my district manager then became my best friend, and today I still value that relationship. You can achieve so much more by partnering, finding positive partnerships with your district, your divisional managers, your upline, your downline members. We cannot do this alone. This is a team effort. I would not be standing here today without the efforts of my team. So do not try to do this alone. It's it's a far more productive journey when you find positive partnership. There's so many in the room I see that I partner with. I'm meeting Isabel for the first time today, and I partnered with her, Gary and Lynette. So many people in the room I can see that I've partnered with. So form positive partnerships. So I started, like I said, going, and then the person who signed me up, she did not tell me about the leadership opportunity. The first meeting I went to, that was when I found out about the leadership opportunity. The district manager shared a 15-minute clip from the Rich and Famous DVD, and Lisa Weber was one of those that was featured. I remember her story where she showed, they had a picture of the boat. And I said, you can make enough money from Avon to buy a boat? I still thought that Avon was selling lipstick, bubble bath, and roll-ons. That was my exposure to Avon. So I was so impressed when I saw the stories that were shared. And all the people in that video, they were older than I was. So I said to myself, if they can do it, then I can do it too. So I met with my district manager, worked out a plan, quickly got in leadership. And 10 years later, I can honestly say that's the one regret I've had in my Avon career, that I did not get started with leadership the first campaign I came on board. So that's why I'm so excited to know that with the new Jumpstart program, when does the clock start ticking for our new recruits? At the time they're appointed. So please be sure to let that new person know about the leadership opportunity, so they too can get on board and start earning right away. Because there are 10 ways you can earn with Avon, but the real money, the life-changing money that you get will be from your leadership earnings. You can earn so much more from those checks that come in than you can from selling. Because you have to be going through, as Lisa said, cutting so many boxes to get what you can from your leadership earnings. And the best part about it, that's money that continues. Your leadership business you can pass on to your children, and that's what this is about for me, building a legacy that I can pass on to my 2 children. So I started recruiting, became a unit leader in my first campaign. I was very excited. My first check was just $62, and I went home with my kids and we celebrated, because guess what? That proved to me that the opportunity was real. Have you ever introduced leadership to anyone and they're looking at you and saying, yeah, really? When they get that first check, it does not matter how small that check is. I was speaking to Donna here today, and she was sharing the same thing, just for them to get that $25. It's not their amount. But do you know what that does for that new recruit? It builds trust and it builds confidence that yes, this is real, because there's so many that still believe that network marketing is still a bad word, right? Yeah. So do not be afraid to share with them that it is real. Help them to get that first check. Started recruiting, enjoyed what I was doing, but then, you know, as they say, life changes. Within a couple months after getting on board, I became a single mother with 2 children. Did nothing with my Avon business for a few campaigns, and you know what happens, right? I lost my downline. Had no interest. The district manager was calling, I would not even speak with her. I was home one day, griping, complaining, I had no money. And it was my son who was 7 at the time. He said, Mom, why don't you do more with this Avon business? And you know what they say, out of the mouth of babes? That was truly the turning point for me. And he knows it. Today he is now 17, I have to look up to him. And he thinks that he's the main shareholder in my business. And he reminds me pretty often that if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for him, then I would not have done what I did with my Avon business. But guess what happened? My children are proud of what I do. It's a family business, and they know that of everything that we've been able to accomplish so far is because of our Avon business. So they're involved. They are the shareholders in my business, and they know that. So I got back on board. Is there anyone in the room that had ever lost your downline before? Yeah. Anna, that happened to you. But guess what, Anna? It makes you come back more determined than ever not to let that happen again, right? Avon got those recruits I started with. Do you think I would ever let that happen again? Absolutely no. So if you hit a hurdle in the road, guess what? Get up, dust yourself off, get back. It makes you stronger, more determined. We've all had challenges, all had hurdles. Mine may be different from yours. I'm sure you all have had different things that have happened. Came back, started building, Shortly after I came on board, I became an executive unit leader. I jumped from unit leader to executive because I needed to make enough money to take care of myself and my 2 children comfortably. And that was my why. And that's the first thing I would encourage you to do. Starting today, and I know most of your serious business partners, your being here shows the commitment that you have to your business. Very important for you to have your why clearly well defined. Because guess what? On days when we feel fed up, and I still get those days, that is what keeps me going. Because I know why I am still here 10 years later. I know what I'm working to achieve. So revisit your why very often because that why changes. I started because my daughter was 3 months old. She's now 10, almost as tall as I am. So I have to keep revisiting my why periodically. Because that is what keeps me fueled, that's what keeps me passionate about my business. So know what that is for you. I know different people come for different reasons. Some of us may just want extra money to do fun things, but for others, this is what is making life-changing income in our household. So start thinking about that. So you need to have your why, know what that why is. Is there anyone who would like to share their why? What brought you to Avon? And I know quite a few of you said, no, if you want time, then I'll get some volunteer going on.
I'm not there yet, but I will get there. I've been selling Avon for about a year, and I just have started into the leadership end of it. I'm a candidate.
Yeah. Whoa, congratulations.
My why is I had to move in with my brother and his family to help out with my mom. She suffered a stroke and then she fell and broke her hip. And she's much better now, thank God for that. And I want my freedom back. That's my
You want your freedom back. And is it Sharon? How long have you been with Avon, Sharon?
About a year.
About a year. And you have a plan defined as to how you're going to get there?
I'm beginning to get that plan more focused every single day. I have 5 people that I've signed up. 3 they're looking really good. The other 2 need a little work, but we're getting there.
And so can you promise me this tonight when you get home, you'll put that together, have it clear, well defined, and that you'll partner with your district manager and your upline?
Yes, that's what I'm here today, to find out exactly what I need to do to get that plan out.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we hear that. Miss Margaret, what's your why?
Now, Donna.
I can pick on my friends.
Yes, you can pick on your friends any day. My why would be, like you, to have a legacy for my children. I'm 72.
Looking good.
And thank you. But I want my daughter to see that Mama has done something with her lipstick.
Oh.
Other than just provide a few gifts for them. I want to have my business strong enough that it will make a difference in her life.
Isn't that a powerful, a compelling why?
Wow. Yes.
So even when it's 105 degrees, that will get Miss Margaret out because she wants to leave a legacy for her children. Is it Mr. Kwame?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Kwame, you, not Mrs. Kwame, you. Who's the Avon representative? So he's here support. I need a gentleman I can pick on. So I'm gonna pick on both of them. Mrs. Kwame, why are you here?
My why for why I am with Avon is actually so my husband and I can partner together and he won't have to work all those different hours that he works.
What a fortunate man.
And so we can start planning on building our home.
So you're in this business to build a home and to provide a serious income for both of you.
Yes.
How long have you been with Avon?
5 months.
5 months. And do you have that clear and well defined, your business plan drafted out as to what you need to do?
Yes.
Okay, so Ben will do that by the end of the weekend,
Yes.
right? Okay. Is there a gentleman here? I like hearing the perspective of the men because guess what happens? The men come in, they want to get to the top of the pay plan, they want big bucks. I see some couples on this side. You can volunteer him, Gary.
Raymond,
What is his name? What's your name, sir?
Raymond.
We're all shy, Raymond. I'm shaking. That's why I'm getting you involved to take the pressure off you.
Because I'm like already like 50-some years old, and I want to pay my house off, and I don't want to ever work anymore. And
Woo! So you're looking for financial freedom
there you go.
to secure that. I'm sure she will appreciate that. Do you have your business plan? Both of you work with us and how you will achieve that?
Yeah, we have it.
You have that? Okay, what level are you in leadership? You're a unit leader on your way to advance. So work your business plan out with your district manager, with your upline, so that you will achieve that. So Avon can be different things to different people. Sharon wants her freedom. Margaret is looking for her legacy. Mrs. Kwame wants to make enough from Avon so her husband will not have to work. Lynette, you hear that? That's what you need to do for Gary. And then, so it means different and it can happen. As Lisa said earlier, this truly is this is an equal earning opportunity. And there is enough for all of us here in this room. So you need to have your why clearly well defined. Then the belief needs to be there. And it's coming to events like this that you instill the belief. Reading all the positive stories, all the testimonials to help to reinforce that yes, this is true. Look to see what the earnings are. We just entered a new program that Avon is offering to us. We need to know our compensation plan. Because if we do not know it, then guess what? We will leave a whole lot of money on the table. And we do not want that to happen. Get your team members involved. As I said earlier, this is not something that we can accomplish on our own. So once we have the belief, you need to let your team know exactly what to do. It should be a shared mission between you and your team. Include your family members. Avon takes us away from our families so much that guess what? We need to get them involved or else they will resent the time that we're spending with our Avon business. And we need the support. And then celebrate your success along the way. Look for little things, little accomplishments, your first $10,000, Big President's Club. Tie that to your leadership. Find little things that you can celebrate, little milestones that you can make a big to-do about to keep you encouraged, to keep you motivated. I was very impressed recently. How many of you were taking note of it's Donna Nayad? She's 64 years old. And she just broke the record. She created a new record. She swam 103 miles from Cuba to Key West. 64. Was it her first attempt?
No.
How many times has she tried it before? This was her 5th attempt. 64 years. She was in that water for over 50 hours. Was it an easy swim?
No.
What were some of the challenges that she had to experience?
Jellyfish.
Sharks. She had divers going before her that were actually checking for sharks. If I know that there's a possibility of even one shark in that water, I'm not getting my own wet. Did that keep her from being in the water for 50 hours? What were some of the other challenges she had to experience?
Jellyfish.
Sunburn.
Dehydration.
Dehydration, cold. It was very cold.
Jellyfish.
Poisonous jellyfish. Did that stop her? Do we experience those challenges daily in our Avon business?
Yes.
Do we experience sharks? Does that put into perspective that what we think are monumental challenges are not so? Are the challenges we experience life-threatening? not one of them are. If that did not stop that 64-year-old woman from swimming from Cuba to Key West, should any of the challenges we experience stop us from achieving our dreams? Her dream was bigger than the fear of the sharks, the stings from the poisonous jellyfish, the sunburn that she knew she was going to be taking weeks to heal. That's how big our dreams should, that's how much we should want to achieve them. That's how badly you should want to be a senior executive unit leader. You should want to be a top seller. Your desire to succeed should be greater than any challenges that you should experience. That, I spent every day I was checking on her to see what was happening, because that was a very important life lesson for me. So we should find motivation in that. And do you remember when she came on, she could hardly speak when she finally hit the shore. And she said she had 3 messages that she wanted to deliver. Does anybody remember what those 3 messages were? Never ever quit. What was the second message? Let me quote it for you. So we may have challenges. None of them are life-threatening. So none of them should stop us from achieving all of the dreams. And the second message she said was that you're never too old to chase your dreams. We're all young in this room, right?
Yeah.
So guess what? Let's work on our dreams now. That was her 5th try. How many of you have tried to make senior executive once before, twice before, never made it? But guess what? Keep going for it. Kathy, I know you will make it because you are determined. So your desire to succeed should always be greater than any challenges, any fears that you may have. And the third message that she said, it is not a solitary sport, it's a team effort. And I thought how much the 3 things that she said, she was speaking to us at Avon. Never ever quit, we have challenges every day. You're never too old, or you've never been with Avon too long to reach for that dream, to reach for that big goal. And this is not something that you can do on your own, it's a team effort. Identify partners that can help you to fulfill your dreams, because by partnering up, you'll accomplish it so much faster than you will on your own. And it is really, I can do it. I was able to walk away from the salon in a year and a half, and I've been doing Avon full-time since then. And because of my Avon business, I've been able to take care of myself, my children, and by extension, so many of my family members. That is priceless. And when you think of the good you can do in your community too. Working as a hairstylist, that's what I was doing, but I was missing out on everything my son was doing on a Saturday. Because Bella can tell you, that's the day we make more money. That's when we pay our rent. But guess what? Because of Avon, I never have to miss out on anything that's important to my kids. And no one told me how quickly they grow. That I was not prepared. So guess what? Some experiences, I've never had a second chance to go through. So the first 7 years that I missed out on going to the baseball games with him, all the things he was doing, guess what? He's 17 now. I can't get that back with him. I do not want you to miss out on anything that's important to your children, your grandchildren, or just anything that's important to you. With your Avon business, I write my schedule. So I'm the one who determines what I'm doing every week. That's what I want you to achieve from your Avon business. It's wonderful being your own boss. I work harder for myself than I will for anyone else. Because at the end of the day, I know that my week is very fulfilling because I'm doing what Donna wants to do. That's what I want for you too. And I want you to be able to build a business so strong you can pass that on for generations to come. With Avon, you can do that. So there's something I want to share with you before I close. Two quick things I want to share with you. I was able to partner with Everytrend, right? This book, and I know I've seen quite a few here that may have it, chronicling my Avon journey and sharing exactly what I have been doing with my team members that have helped us to build a successful business. My first campaign as a unit leader, because it's very important for you to know that it is real. My first campaign as a unit leader, my first check was $62.15. And I went home and I celebrated with my kids. Went from being a unit leader to an executive unit leader. My first check as an executive unit leader was $1,201. And that was when I knew that it would soon be possible for us to move from the one-bedroom apartment into a house where we had space, where I could have my own office. And when I finally moved from that one-bedroom apartment in New York to my house in Frisco, the first room that I set up was my office. Do you know why?
Yeah. Keep working.
Quite better. A lot of you, I'm sure, have children. You know how annoying they can be, right? I was running my business from a one-bedroom apartment in New York, but I always believed it was important to be professional. So each time one of my downline members or my customers would call, I'd be maybe in the kitchen preparing dinner with my kids. I said, just give me a few minutes. As soon as I get to my office, I will call you. And my son, just like Lydia, would be in the background saying, Mommy, you don't have an office, it's your bedroom, because I had a little desk in the bedroom with my little laptop. That was my office, because guess I had the vision, I had the dream. That little area in my bedroom was where I had in the room, my bedroom, I had my goals posted, I had exactly what I was doing. That was my office. And he would say it so many times, that it got on my nerves. So when we moved into the house, the first thing he said, so, okay, Mommy, are you going to be setting up my room first? And I turned and I looked at him and I said, no, I'm setting up my office. Even if you're running your Avon business from an area in your bedroom, start seeing that as your office. Treat your Avon business as a serious business. Because the way you treat it, that's the results you will get, right? So that was one of the proudest moments for being able to establish an office that I could run my business from. So I wish that for you too. So then, I learned at a meeting I went to with everything that every level you move in Avon, you double your earnings. So you move from being a unit leader to an advanced unit leader, your checks double. When you move from being an advanced to an executive, the checks will double again. And when you move from an executive to a senior executive, your checks will double. So I had to prove that for myself. So my first check as an executive was $1,200. My first check as a senior executive unit leader was $2,672. Did I double my check? Yes. And then a year later, after I became a senior, I got a check for $6,100 for 2 campaigns. And then a year later, in 2007, I got one check for $8,000 for